Hey, to whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright.
Hey there, and welcome to the first episode of the Hunters Are Here podcast, where we swap family tales from the hilarious to the heartwarming. I'm your host, Just E, and every week we share the stories that made us laugh, cry, and sometimes roll our eyes at Uncle Buddy. Truly, it should be a movie because growing up Hunter was/is an experience that keeps happening. You may be familiar with my voice from a podcast I do with my hubby, Paul, called E Says, P Says. Currently, we are on hiatus due to the mister going through some health challenges. Thankfully, he is on the mend and we should be bringing you new episodes soon. That said, I have created this podcast to share my and my maternal family members' experiences growing up Hunter. My mother is the 10th child of 12 and the last girl. I'm her oldest daughter, and I have two siblings. In our sharing, there will definitely be laughter and there may be tears, but it is all in sharing our family legacy so we can share what one family's legacy looks like. By the way, the reason the podcast is named The Hunters Are Here is due to my oldest aunt, Evelyn. Unfortunately, she is no longer with us, but from the title you can see she was a pistol. And The Hunters Are Here came about when one of my cousins got married. At the wedding, the groom's family was introducing everyone and letting people know who was here and how they were related. Well, when they were done, my aunt grabbed the mic and said, "The hunters are here." Drops the mic. I miss my auntie because she was never going to be outdone by anyone. And there are many moments we laughed so hard till we cried because each sibling was a character. I have 11 aunts and uncles that grew up in Selma, Alabama. I know, and yes, that's Selma, where Martin Luther King marched from to Montgomery. And it took me some time, at least till I was grown, to realize that it was that Selma. And not only that, when you drive from the Montgomery airport to Selma, it is the same route the marchers took. And you are like, wow. And then you realize the strength of your ancestors because the road is pitch black with houses that you can count on one hand as you are driving. And that means at any turn, those marchers were in danger because there's just as many lights as there are houses. Because I learned in the South that you have to purchase a light pole if you want one in front of your house. So if you don't have the money, you don't have the light. And that was when I was in my 30s. So that was about 30 years ago when we went down that road for the last time. So I'm not sure if there are more houses now. And then after you realize the strength of your ancestors, you look at your parents, aunts, and uncles and realize what it took for them to leave Selma and migrate north. And most of my relatives are in the north. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, with two of my aunts. One of my uncles was in the city but moved to the Bronx once he was married and eventually to Freehold, New Jersey. Another uncle lived in New Haven, Connecticut, and the aunt and uncle lived in Chicago, Illinois. Another aunt lived in Nashville, Tennessee. Another aunt resided in Washington, D.C. Another aunt lived in Princeton, New Jersey. Yes, that Princeton, and no, I did not realize it was that Princeton till I was preparing to go to college myself. It was just normal to me, and no one ever made a big deal about it. And yes, one I stayed in Alabama but moved to Montgomery. Unfortunately, my youngest uncle did relocate to Brooklyn in the mid 60s and planned to start his life. However, he had epilepsy in a time where medicine was not as advanced as it currently is, and there were not as many treatment options. So he had a bad attack and passed away. I know that is a lot of people, and somehow through life, I can name and have a semblance of a relationship with all of my cousins, aunts, and uncles. All of them did not happen in childhood, but as we matured. At reunions, weddings, and funerals, we've connected. And I can also say I have stayed in most of my aunts and uncles and one uncle's home. The only two uncles I didn't stay with are one was due to distance, and the other was close enough we could drive and return home. Now that I have given you a taste of my family makeup, I will stop right here and pick it up next week where I discuss my grandparents. Thanks so much for joining us this week. Please make sure to subscribe to The Hunters Are Here on whatever platform you listen to podcasts. If you would like to support, go to Buy Me a Coffee /mockmediagroup.com. You can also check us out on Facebook under Mock Media Group, where all information about our books, podcasts, and merch is located. For merch, you can also check out Ease Tees, EZZTEES, and locate Mr. P's book. Go to You can go to Amazon and search for Vignettes from a South Central Sun Part 1. I also have two other podcasts available. 8 Hours Later with the Stream Queen, where I discuss all things streaming, and The Randomness of E, where I just discuss random thoughts and information. If that's too much, you can check out our website, mockmediagroup.com. Thanks for listening.
Hey, to whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worrying. I get it, the odds seem stacked back against the wall, but even consider it such, know you'll stand tall. Sat and watch from the sidelines one too many times. Wicked games we play make me wanna lose my mind. Found solitude knowing it'll be over soon. Ever need a boost, count on me for the 1-2. Trouble don't last when the tough get going. Baby, all we do is win, so show me my opponent. Adversity, doubt, stress, could carry